Hi there, I'm Bill McCusker. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Fathers and Families, Inc. I'm also the author of a book called Fatherhood in Pieces. In this series called Chapter Highlights, we're going to take one chapter of the book and we're going to drill down in some more detail. The first chapter that we're going to take a look at is called Describe Your Father. The book is based on 35 one-on-one interviews I did with 35 individual fathers. These were CEOs and blue-collar guys. They were white, they were black. They were older fathers who were looking back on their adult kids and how they raised them. There were also younger fathers who were closer to the starting line. The first question in these interviews I asked them to reflect on was, tell me about your dad. What was your father like? How would you describe him? What were his good points and bad points, strengths and weaknesses? As you might imagine, the conversations were all over the place. One guy said, my father was lost in the war before I was even born. Another guy said, I didn't have a father. In fact, there were several whose fathers had left them early on. One individual told me, my father is the person in this world whom I love the most. A lot of guys seem to start with, my dad, he was a great guy. And one guy said, my father gave me something very important. It was an example of what exactly I don't want to become. Regardless of the conversations and regardless of where the questions took them, I was left with an impression, and it's not rocket science, but the impression that parents have a profound and lasting impact on their kids. And that's the first thing I would like you to do as you look at this chapter. I'd like you to think about your own father and what were his strengths and weaknesses. What did you learn from him? And then think about yourself. What are you taking away from your experience with your father in terms of your strengths and weaknesses? What have you learned from him that's working well? How are you trying to avoid his weaknesses? But then I'd like you to drill down a little bit more on that. And think about how well you're doing as a father. What are the things that you're doing that you're proud of? What are the things perhaps that you would change? You may want to take a look at something that we call the Fatherhood Performance Workshop. That's found on the Fathers and Families, Inc. website. And it's a self-paced workshop that you can go through, particularly if you're trying to improve your performance as a parent. So give it a shot. Good luck. I wish you well. And know this. Being a father is important, so give it your very best.